41 hours. That is how long they had been inside the ship. And the aliens still believed humans were helpless. They were about to learn how wrong that was. The holding cell aboard the Ascendant Verdict was cold, silent, and built to erase resistance. Recycled air hissed through hidden vents. A sharp chemical smell burned the inside of the throat, cleaning agents made for alien biology, not human lungs. Sergeant Elena Vasquez sat with her back against the curved wall. Knees pulled close. Still. Watching. Breathing slow, just like she was trained. She wasn't panicking. She was counting time. Across from her, Corporal James Adme was already awake. No fear in his eyes. Only observation. He studied everything: camera angles, door seams, guard rhythm. Beside him, Private First Class Nora Holt pressed 2 fingers to her wrist. But she wasn't checking her pulse. She was timing the ship. Every hum. Every vibration. Every cycle of the alien engine. Because 41 hours inside enemy space teaches one thing. White right pointing backhand index, everything has a pattern. And patterns can be broken. They hadn't been captured in a fight. There had been no fight at all. The Galactic Council cruiser had found their recon shuttle near Kepler Station and erased it from space. One pulse. No warning. No chance. Systems dead. Weapons frozen. A ship that felt like a fortress turned into drifting metal in seconds. Then came the capture. 3 humans taken like samples in a lab. No effort. No respect. Just classification. Category 2 sentience. Low threat. Standard containment. That label was a mistake they would never forget. A sound broke the silence. SSSSS. The cell door opened. A Vatex guard stepped inside. 7 feet tall. Armored in grey exoskeleton plating. 4 jointed arms moved slightly as it scanned the room. 4 eyes. Cold. Unimpressed. It came every 8 hours. Same routine. Same inspection. Same assumption. They are harmless. But there was one problem with that belief. The Vatex thought it had entered a cage. It had actually entered a trap. Elena caught James's eyes. A single glance. Left. That was all. James understood immediately. His chin dipped, barely noticeable. Nora stopped timing the engine. Everything went quiet. Not outside. Inside them. Elena rose. Slow. Natural. Like she was simply stretching after sitting too long. No threat.
No tensión.
No warning. The Vatex tracked her movement. Its system measured size. Weight.
Weapon signature.
Human readings were always the same. Soft. Fragile. Non-combat class. It relaxed slightly. That was its second mistake. Before it even finished the blink cycle. Elena moved. Not fast. Not flashy. Precise. A palm strike shot forward, driven into the joint of the Vatex's primary arm. Crack. The exoskeleton flexed wrong. The guard's body released a sharp mechanical hiss, like pressure escaping a broken system. It tried to react. Too late. James was already gone. Not attacking. Not hesitating. Moving past the guard, straight through the open door. Into the corridor. Nora followed instantly. Her hands were already on the sidearm before the Vatex fully processed the strike. One clean pull. One clean grip. The weapon was hers. 41 hours of watching. 41 hours of learning. The corridor outside was curved, copper-lit, and alive with faint mechanical vibration. Elena didn't guess her direction. She knew it. Every patrol route. Every blind corner. Every shift in sound. James had memorized guard rotation. Nora had mapped engine cycles. And Elena? She had been listening to the ship like it was speaking. They moved. Not like prisoners. Not like escapees. Like something far worse. Something planned. First checkpoint. Empty. Not a mistake. A design flaw. Nora climbed the wall brackets, staying above the sensor line. 3 feet off the ground. Silent. Controlled. Second checkpoint. A live guard. Waiting. It stepped forward. Blocking the path. Confident. James walked straight toward it. Hands visible. Face calm.
No aggression.
The guard relaxed. That was enough. Behind it. Elena struck again.
Fast.
Clean. Final. The guard dropped before it could even trigger alarm protocol. 2 checkpoints. 40 seconds. And deep inside the Ascendant Verdict, alarms had not yet begun to scream. But they were coming.
Fast.
Loud. Unstoppable. The first alarm didn't scream. It breathed. A low pulse ran through the Ascendant Verdict like a heartbeat changing rhythm. Then the light shifted. From calm copper glow to sharp warning amber. Somewhere deep in the ship, systems had realized something was wrong. Not fully. Not yet. But enough. Elena didn't slow down. Neither did James. Nor Nora. Because the worst thing you can do inside a hostile ship is give it time to think. James moved ahead, now fully inside the corridor network. His eyes tracked everything. Doors. Corners. Wall seams. Every 3 seconds, his brain rebuilt the ship again in his head. Not as a structure, but as a system. A living map of weakness. Behind him, Nora stayed close to the wall. She didn't look around much. She didn't need to. She was listening to rhythm now. The engine pulse. The ventilation shift. The vibration drops between compartments. 41 hours had turned noise into information. And information into advantage. Elena stayed slightly behind. Not because she was slower. Because she was control. If something went wrong, she was the correction. That was always her role. Even before this ship. Even before aliens. A new sound joined the alarm. Click. 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 Footsteps. Multiple. Approaching from the lower corridor ring. James stopped instantly. Raised one hand. The team froze. Not fear. Timing. 3 Vatex guards entered the intersection below. Armored. Heavy. Confident. They move like security always does when it believes it is in control. Slow. Deliberate. Unaware that control is already gone. James didn't speak. He didn't need to. His eyes shifted once. Left corridor. Elena understood. Right corridor. Nora understood. That was all. They split. Not running. Not panicking. Moving like the ship belonged to them. Because in their minds, it already did. The first guard never saw Nora. She came from above the walkway edge, dropping silently behind it. A quick strike to the neck joint of its exoskeleton. A second movement disarmed the weapon mount.
No hesitation. No wasted motion.
The guard collapsed before it could fully turn. Second guard turned toward the noise. Too late. Elena was already there. A controlled body strike into the torso hinge. Metal cracked under pressure. The alien staggered back, trying to stabilize. But Elena followed instantly. One more hit. Then silence. The third guard tried something different. It triggered its internal alarm. A sharp signal burst echoed down the corridor. But James was already moving toward it. Not to fight. To end it before it spread. He closed distance fast, too fast for the alien reaction system to adjust. One movement disrupted its balance. A second removed its weapon access. A third ended the engagement. 3 guards. Less than a minute.
No panique. No chaos.
Only efficiency. But now the ship was fully awake. And it did not like what it was seeing. Doors began locking in sequence. Bulkheads slid into place. Internal security routes rerouted. The Ascendant Verdict was no longer a quiet prison ship. It was becoming a sealed hunting ground. And they were still inside it. Nora reached a wall panel and pressed her fingers against it. Listening. She frowned slightly. They've changed routing, she said. James didn't look back. How fast? Fast enough that they expected this. That changed everything. Not fear. Just calculation. Elena stepped closer. Then we stopped being predictable. James nodded once. Already thinking ahead. Already adapting. Deep inside the ship. Something else activated. A system not meant for prisoners. Not meant for breaches. A countermeasure protocol buried under layers of governance code. A last option. One the Council almost never used. The lights shifted again. This time darker. Heavier. Almost like the ship itself was lowering its voice. James saw it first on the corridor readout. A single line appeared in alien script. Then translated. Slowly. Coldly. Containment override. Level 1 initiated. Elena read it. Paused for half a second. Then said what all three of them understood immediately. Now it gets serious. Somewhere far above them. Metal doors began unlocking. Not to let them out, but to let something else in. The ship stopped pretending. That was the first real warning. Lights no longer shifted gently between colors. They snapped into harsh, unstable patterns. Corridors that were once predictable now felt different. Like the ship had changed its mind about what kind of place it was. Elena felt it instantly. "This isn't security," she said quietly. James didn't answer right away. He was watching the walls. The ship structure had begun to reconfigure itself in small ways. Bulkheads adjusting, pathways narrowing, access point sealing. "It's not hunting us," James finally said. A pause. "It's containing us inside a moving maze." Nora pressed 2 fingers against the wall again. Her expression tightened. "The engine rhythm changed," she said. "Not mechanical, tactical." Elena turned slightly. "Meaning?" "They're using the ship like a weapon now." That statement made everything worse. Because it meant the ship wasn't just reacting anymore. It was thinking with intent. A deep mechanical tone rolled through the corridors. Not an alarm. A command. Then came the translation across their borrowed interface feed. Containment override. Level 1 confirmed. James exhaled slowly. "That's not a response protocol," he said. "That's a lockdown doctrine." Elena looked down the corridor. The path behind them had already sealed shut. No retreat. Only forward. Footsteps echoed again. But this time they were synchronized. Not patrols. Not random guards. A formation. James raised a hand. They stopped immediately against the wall. Silence returned, but it was heavier now. Like the ship itself was listening for them. From the far end of the corridor, shapes emerged. Not Vatex guards. Something else. Bulkier armor. Heavier limbs. Integrated weapons. Elena narrowed her eyes. "Those aren't standard security units." James nodded once. "They're response enforcers." Nora whispered, "Meaning?" Elena answered before James could. "Meaning they don't patrol, they erase." The enforcers didn't rush. They advanced slowly. Measured. Each step perfectly timed with the ship's internal pulse. Like the vessel and the soldiers were one system. One mind. One purpose. James scanned the corridor edges. "No cover," he said. Nora replied instantly, "Then we don't take cover." Elena glanced at her. That wasn't hesitation. That was adaptation. The first enforcer raised its arm. A weapon system unfolded. Not a gun, not a blade, something more structured. A directed energy spine that hummed before firing. James moved first. Not toward it. Sideways. Predicting. Not reacting. The beam fired. It hit the wall where he had been standing half a second earlier. The corridor exploded into molten fragments of alloy. But James was already gone. Elena closed distance instantly. Not running. Flowing. One step into range. One strike into joint weakness. The enforcer staggered, but didn't fall. Too armored. Too reinforced. Nora appeared behind it. A controlled movement, not fast, just precise. She struck the weapon's connector point. The energy spine flickered. For a split second, the system hesitated. That was all Elena needed. Second impact. The enforcer dropped. Not destroyed. Disabled. But still enough. Because now they understood something important. These weren't guards. They were built for humans who fought like humans expect aliens to fight back. Not like this. The remaining enforcers adjusted instantly.
No confusión. No delay.
They had learned. That was worse. James stepped back slightly. They're adapting in real time, he said. Elena replied, so are we. A beat of silence. Then she added, faster. Nora checked the corridor feed again. Her voice lowered. There's something else. James didn't look away from the enforcers. What? A pause. Then, they've activated external containment locks. Elena frowned. Explain. Nora swallowed once. We are not inside a ship anymore. Another pause. We are inside a sealed zone of it. James understood immediately. The ship can detach sections. Nora nodded. And they just isolated us with them. A distant sound echoed through the structure. Deep. Heavy. Metal shifting on a massive scale. The corridor lights dimmed further. Like the ship was shutting its eyes. Elena tightened her grip. Then we stopped playing inside their maze. James looked at her. Nora already knew what was coming. Elena's voice was calm. We find the control heart. And somewhere deep inside the ascendant verdict, something massive began to move toward them. Slow. Deliberate. The ship was no longer just reacting. It was hunting in structure. Every corridor shift, every sealed door, every redirected path was guiding them. Not randomly, but intentionally. Like the ascendant verdict had stopped being a vessel and become a closed system designed to correct an error. And they were the error. Elena moved first. Not faster. Not louder. Just forward. Because once a ship decides you are contained, hesitation becomes the only real trap. James followed close behind. Nora stayed slightly back, reading everything the ship was trying to hide in its rhythms. The deeper they went, the more the ship changed. Walls became thicker. Lights dimmer. Air heavier. Even sounds started behaving differently, absorbed instead of echoed. James noticed it immediately. This section isn't built for movement, he said. Elena replied, it's built for isolation. Nora added quietly, or termination. A low mechanical tone rolled through the structure again. But this time, it wasn't an alert. It was a confirmation. Something had locked onto them. Not their position. Their pattern. The corridor ahead opened into a wide circular junction. Too open. Too clean. Too perfect. James stopped instantly. Elena stopped beside him. Nora's eyes narrowed. This is a capture zone, she said. James nodded. They want us to enter. Elena looked at the space, then stepped forward anyway. The moment they entered, the world changed. Doors sealed behind them in a synchronized cascade. Every exit vanished in seconds. The room became a closed ring of metal and silence. And then, the center of the chamber activated. Something rose from beneath the floor. Not a soldier. Not a guard. Not even a drone. A command construct. Massive. Led in shifting armor plates that moved like they were alive. Its presence didn't feel like machinery. It felt like authority made physical. Nora took one step back. Okay, she whispered. That's new. James didn't respond. He was scanning, trying to understand what he was looking at. But the system didn't wait for understanding. It spoke. Not in voice. In direct translation. Subjects classified. Human. A pause. Then. Reclassification required. Elena's eyes narrowed. Here we go. The construct moved slightly. Not attacking. Assessing. Like it was updating a file. A living database deciding what they were. James whispered, it's not trying to kill us yet.
Elena answered instantly.
That's the problem. The construct continued. Category 2 designation insufficient. Another pause. Longer this time. Heavier. Like the system was struggling with something it didn't have a category for. Aggression profile, non-standard. Adaptation rate, impossible for classification. Behavioral response, strategic warfare without infrastructure. Nora looked at Elena. Very quietly she said, it's learning what we are. Elena didn't take her eyes off the construct. Good, she said. Then it will understand why it's already losing. The construct's core light intensified. One final line appeared. Slower than the rest. Almost reluctant. Threat class revision initiated. A pause. Then the ship itself seemed to hesitate. Like even its systems didn't fully accept what came next. Classification upgraded beyond existing council scale. Silence. Even the alarm stopped for a fraction of a second. James finally spoke. What does that mean? Elena exhaled once. Then said it simply. It means they ran out of categories. The construct shifted again. But this time, not to attack. To report. To escalate. To call something bigger. Something deeper inside the ship. Something that had never been activated for prisoners before. Nora's voice dropped. Whatever is next is not meant to contain us. James added quietly. It's meant to decide what we are allowed to be. Elena tightened her grip. Her voice was calm. Almost steady. Then let's make sure it answers wrong. And far above them, deep inside the Ascendant verdict, a final system awakened. One that did not belong to guards, or enforcers, or ships, but to the Council itself. And it was about to decide what humans truly were.